The Pineridge Tunnel murders. For nearly 15 years, the Pineridge Tunnel had been closed to traffic. The old mountain passage was abandoned after a newer highway opened nearby. Concrete barriers blocked both entrances, and most locals had forgotten it existed. Then, one spring morning, two teenagers slipped past the barriers to explore. Halfway through the tunnel, one of them noticed something hanging from an emergency telephone box. A woman's necklace. There was dried blood on the chain. Police arrived and searched the tunnel. Near a drainage opening along the wall, a cadaver dog alerted. Investigators removed the metal grate. Inside, they discovered human remains. The victim was 31-year-old Danielle Foster, who had disappeared 7 months earlier while driving home from work. Her car had been found abandoned at a gas station 20 miles away. Detectives had never considered Pineridge. Then another dog alerted farther inside the tunnel. A second body was discovered beneath debris in an old maintenance chamber. Then a third. Within 4 days, investigators recovered 6 bodies from different sections of the tunnel. The victims had disappeared over nearly 11 years. Different towns, different occupations, no obvious connection, but detectives noticed one detail. Every victim's vehicle had been found near Highway 19, the road that replaced the old tunnel. Investigators began reviewing old surveillance footage from gas stations and businesses along the highway. Most recordings were long gone. But one convenience store had saved footage connected to an unrelated robbery. On the night one victim disappeared, her car could be seen leaving the parking lot. Seconds later, a white utility truck followed. Police enhanced the footage. There was no company logo, no readable license plate, but an amber warning light was mounted on the roof. Detectives searched transportation records. The old Pineridge Tunnel was still inspected twice a year by county contractors. Someone connected to those inspections would know how to enter it. Police questioned road crews, engineers, electricians, and former county employees. Nothing. Then investigators discovered something strange. The locks on the tunnel entrances had been replaced repeatedly over the years. County records showed only 3 replacements, but forensic examination suggested the locks had been changed at least 9 times. Someone was controlling access without the county knowing. Detectives searched the tunnel again. Behind a loose section of wall, they discovered a plastic container. Inside were 6 driver's licenses, 1 from each known victim. There was also a 7th license. It belonged to 28-year-old Allison Reed. Allison had disappeared 13 years earlier. Her body had never been found. Police returned with ground-penetrating equipment. For days, teams searched drainage channels, maintenance rooms, ventilation shafts, and surrounding woods. Nothing. Then investigators received an anonymous phone call. The caller spoke for only 5 seconds. "You're looking inside the wrong mountain." The call disconnected. Police traced it to a prepaid phone discarded beside Highway 19. Detectives searched abandoned mines and service tunnels throughout the area. Weeks passed. Then, inside an old railway tunnel 6 miles from Pineridge, cadaver dogs alerted. Allison's body was recovered, but she wasn't alone. 2 additional bodies were found nearby. Neither victim had previously been connected to Pineridge. The case now involved 9 murders. Investigators believed the killer had access to multiple abandoned tunnels throughout the county. But no suspect was identified. The white utility truck was never found. The murders appeared to stop. Years passed. Then the county decided to permanently seal Pineridge Tunnel. Before pouring concrete into the entrances, investigators performed one final search. Deep inside the tunnel, an officer noticed something scratched into the wall. 9 small vertical lines, 1 for each known victim. Beside them was a 10th line. Unlike the others, it looked fresh. Police searched missing person reports. Nobody appeared to fit. Then, 3 days later, a woman named Claire Bennett was reported missing. Her abandoned car was discovered beside Highway 19. Inside were her purse, phone, and keys. Police immediately returned to Pineridge. The entrances had already been sealed with concrete. No one could have entered. At least, not through the entrances investigators knew about. Claire Bennett has never been found. No additional bodies have been recovered. And the Pineridge Tunnel murders remain unsolved. But investigators still haven't answered one question. If that 10th mark represented Claire, who carved it into the tunnel wall 3 days before she disappeared.